I'm feeling a little stupid here. I should take a nap, but I don't know. I just got to thinking about my friend John, and I'm raring to go. My friend John died. John C. Springer of Dallas, Texas. Long-time dharma practitioner. He was head of the Dallas Dharma study group for 10 years. Then he moved to Boulder for a year or so. They chewed him up and spit him out. But at one time he was the head architect for Landy Mallory and David Darwin. They had a big real estate development firm going on. John was going to be their guy. It fell apart after about 2 months, but I don't know. He probably stayed up there 5 or 6 months. I don't know. Tina's wife, Carol, they kind of split up. That kind of was the beginning of the end for them, I think. She was a pretty good Dharma student, but somewhere on the way she meets this, I don't know. She's pretty famous. Christian. Ascended masters everywhere. Talks in a real effective voice. A lot of followers. The whole thing completely blew up. Guns and plots within plots. And it wasn't as bad as Rajneesh, but it was kind of very similar story on a smaller scale. Not that much smaller. I mean, they were big. A lot of big presence on TV. All kind of programs on TV, you know. Community TV back then had a lot of these programs. It was very popular. I'll think of her name, or I'm gonna probably do this until I'll study up for the second session. That girl Carol became number 2 man, number 2 person. She wasn't especially regarded as a high teacher in the thing, but she was the right-hand man, all the administrative stuff she handled. He marries her best friend, who also was named Carol. Horrible divorce. The first divorce was not horrible, no kids. Amicable split, but the second one, they get 2 kids, and worst divorce, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 5. He bugged her house, bugged her phone. It was his house, so it's legal. She was conspiring with the telephone repairman to take him for all he was worth and have all this lies said about him in court. He had tapes of the whole thing. And he I don't know, he became a little disillusioned, I don't know, with the Boulder scene after they screwed him to the wall. I don't know if he wasn't anti-Trump or infantry, but he was a little burnt to a crisp somehow. And he was really skeptical of the Regent. I think he was kind of like a devotee of Karmapa around that time, maybe, but he didn't get too wrapped up in it. But then they had a little DKD group start in Dallas. It's Holiness Karmapa's people. He got pretty involved in that, and then there was another Lama. I'll think of the name, or I'll look it up. Got pretty involved with that guy. Got disillusioned. Guy put the big bite on him for money, kind of like what happened in Boulder, sort of. Similar in a way. Just real short Lama, real funny, but he was kind of, anyway, he and John got really tight. Really tight. They were hanging together all the time. Finally, the Lama says to him, "You're going to put my daughter through college." And John says, "No, I am not." I might made it to slander the Dharma. Please forgive me. I think a lot of that Lama, but he was really landed on John. It was the wrong guy. He'd taken the course, man. He wasn't in the mood. Funny guy, that Lama. Lots of stories like that, I'm sorry to say, I believe. A lot of Lamas in the West have a little of that reputation. And he had it before he came to town. You know, nobody sent him there. He just decided to come there. So, for many years I lived in Abilene. And we had a little group. You know, one time we had 2 or 3 people from Boulder moved here. One guy to work in the oil business with Gold Lake. Tom Bell sent him down here with Gold Lake. Not my idea. I was against it. But we got to be pretty good friends. And he didn't work for me or my dad as a landman after Gold Lake sort of slowed down. Sort of cut my throat a little bit. Backstabbed me with Tom Bell, but it wasn't too horrible. It wasn't. They just go out. We had his leaves. We were trying to sell it. I said, "I won't sell it for nothing. No override, no nothing." And Tom Bell sold it for no nothing. They didn't tell me. We got some cash. We got our money back and got no override. I was totally against that. I'd have rather eaten it. I would have rather kept trying to get a little. And the thing hit, nice little deal, that's very disappointing. And then Charles Zimmerman, Lady Rich's brother, Sheriff, was a guy who came down, the landman type, had been studying as landman with Tom. Sheriff and I got to be pretty tight. We were pretty good friends. And then Charles came down, working on the oil rigs, get him some of that easy money. He's up at the top of this rig. It's like 40 below and the wind's blowing 50 miles an hour and all the hoses that are pumping the water to run the rig are freezing. So Charles is up, halfway up the rig, holding on to a burning bucket of flammable liquids to keep that hose from freezing. And the old toll pusher's standing there and he says, "Yeah, you came down here to Texas to get some of that easy money." It wasn't that easy money for Charles. He hung in there pretty good, but and with girlfriends. Carrie was there for a while, Carrie Goldman. They had a nice little group, or even before that, we had 6 or 8 often. Those flourishing times for our little Dharma center. Anyway, and we knew Austin, but we're like I don't say they treat us like dirt in Austin, but it's just, we get a better reception when we go to Dallas, and we double the size, and we're kind of the same size group, and I don't know, they loved us in Dallas, and I didn't even know who we were in Austin. they weren't interested in knowing us in a way. I mean, that's not fair to say, but the contrast was noticeable, you know. We were just great friends with people in Dallas. Bart and Dale was there. I met Bart, met Mary, who later on were big at Austin. We were great friends later on again. It was nice that Dahlia Menendez I knew in Dallas. Some more people. Anyway, it was a little mutually beneficial society. The Dallas group and the Abilene group went on for a long time that way. And John was just, you know, he was the head, and I was the head, and we were just tired and tense. So one time, John, I guess, is living. Well, he was living up there for that period, and it's only as karma becomes. And I'm going up there, you know, but can't remember what happened. My flight was a little screwed up. It's like my flight gets in at 4 in the morning of the day of, you know. I'm kind of screwed. There's no way, you know. Oh, I just didn't know anything about Boulder. I haven't been to Boulder much. Maybe Tom was just up there in Boulder for this event. Anyway, I think that's what it was. He was just up there for this event. Stay in a hotel somewhere. I'm getting at 4 in the morning. I got nobody to pick me up. I'm kind of screwed because I just don't know anything. I don't know what to do. I had no idea how to get myself to Boulder or where it was and what was going on. I just I was clueless. I guess this is 74, so you know, Karen had not moved to Boulder, you know, we just didn't know our way around. Anyway, John comes over. He's got drunk the night before the big party that he gets out of bed. Maybe it was 5 o'clock, you know. He like shows up at the airport at 5 o'clock after being hungover. You know, nobody would do that. Nobody would do that, but he did it. I got to go to the Black Crown ceremony for the first time. That was the experience of my life. I've never had anything like that happen to me. Yeah, it's quite an atmosphere. Dr. Rinpoche was a basket case. He was just bawling and bawling and bawling. I've never seen anything like it. So overcome with devotion to the Karmapa. And all his work, he put so much work into that. It was like 24 hours a day for 3 months or something. I mean, it was incredible what those people did. There was one group of people that started getting ready for that deal. 3 months later, it was a different body of human beings because they just did so much and learned so much and grew into this powerhouse. And before, they were just a bunch of hippies, you know, wondering where their next sandwich was coming from. And they just transformed everybody into this powerful, powerful, powerful group of people that knew a lot, could do a lot. Atmosphere was quite something else. You know, His Holiness transforms himself into Chenrezig himself, you know, and he's holding the Black Crown. And everybody, well, he puts it away, but he's still Chenrezig. And everybody comes up for a blessing. I'm the year of the cat in the Chinese astrology. When I began to ascend the stairs to come up there, I turned into a very large cat. Let's just call it a tiger. I mean, I'm just this huge tiger walking up these stairs to receive the blessings of His Holiness and to be shown my Buddha nature. It's incredible. Incredible. Nothing like that ever happened. I never turned into anything before or since. You know, and I've experienced a lot of the blessings. But that was special, and everybody in the room. It's the same way. Turn the rhythm section over there. Oh, I was really grateful to John for that. It was kind of bonded us in my mind. He was my hero from then on, till the end of time. So I got another story. I wish I could tell you the whole story. I can't. I cannot tell you this story, man. Maybe I can tell you little glimpses. This is a story about the Regent coming to Austin. It's got the best part of the whole story is the John Springer part, but there's a lot to it. I'm gonna have to change the names to protect the innocent man. Oh my goodness. This is the wildest story I have. There's nothing like this ever happened to me before. Maybe I'll just let it fly, man. I think I'll just let it fly. It's not, the Regent will not be happy with me. Those people will not be happy with me. Nope, I am dirt, but I'm not doing this because I disrespect the Regent in any way. I love it. That man was the best friend I've ever had in my life, or ever will have, or ever could hope to have. He's just everything to me. He is, was, and is everything to me, you know, but they call us, Talopa says, tomorrow we visit a freak show. Many one-eyed people. A blind man who can see. A deaf man who can hear. A lame man who can walk. A corpse fanning itself. These are the similes of the ineffable. I don't know, man. If you're on the inside of some of this shit, you see some shit, you hear some shit. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut, basically. You should. For 100 years, probably, or maybe 200 years or something. But I don't regard any of this as, let's see, maybe I can't talk about it, maybe I can, I don't know. Recently I had a little taste for bud. Maybe a few other things too. I don't consider this a grave fault, you know, I do not. But he got a lot of trouble. He got a lot of trouble for this stuff this weekend. Well, he had people out to get him, man. He had people out to cut him up. Maybe I don't mind mentioning those people. Those nasty, nasty people are out to cut the Regent up and serve him for dinner and make him look like a fool. I don't mind mentioning that, David Rome. I don't mind that at all. I don't think you deserve that kind of consideration that I give the Regent and other people who acted honorably, but you did not. You were a bastard, man, the whole way through, as far as I'm concerned. You're a bastard about this weekend. You're a bastard trying to get the Regent. You're a bastard trying to get me. You're a bastard. So, Regent had to be weeded a year. The Regent sat motionless for a year and had no weed. And so they come down. Tom, one of his best friends, is this attendant. And Regent are good friends, you know. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad you're going to be there. There'll be somebody I know, you know. He's in pretty good form. He's in pretty good form. He's hot. But they're out to get him a bowler. I don't know, some things happened at the previous seminary and we're a little wild and crazy, and the knives are out in Boulder. They always are. Always are. You can't believe the blood sport it was. Trying to stick it to the Regent, man. Unbelievable what those people did. What those people did. Trying to get him thrown in jail, trying to get him convicted for murder. It was like incredible. The nasty shit they pulled. All with David Rome behind it. All with David Rome creating all of that. That was him. He was it was the board at that time. It was Lady Diana, it was Regent, kind of three separate parachuters. But David was kind of calling the shots around the board a lot. He'd been cooking it up for a long time. So we and golf. We get there, the Regent. First night, he's pretty drunk. I mean, I don't know. Regent drank some sake. Oh, I know what it was. The Regent drank some sake. He lost a lot of sake. And Tom goes and scores the weed. Comes back. We smoked the weed. Oh, no, I didn't smoke. I wasn't there. I was somewhere else. I wasn't home with it. But they got the weed. The Regent, we go after golf. We go and have like 5 daiquiris or something. I don't have 5. He has like 5, 6 daiquiris. Come home and has 2 or 3, 4 sakis with dinner, and then the weed shows up. He smokes the weed, and he passes out, which is a really common thing to do. It's very tricky to mix weed and alcohol. You could do it, but here's what you don't do. You don't get blasted on alcohol and then smoke a bunch of really good weed. That's a recipe for passing out, man. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no, you get that drunk, you smoke some strong, and you're going. And they're not getting you up either. So about the time he's supposed to go give Friday night talk, he's not with us. You know, Tom, he knows kind of the score. And you can be late, you know. You can be late. The big boys can be late, and the bigger they are, the later they can be, you know. So Regent shows up about 2 in the morning. Friday night. And people are flipping out, man. Mary was a little high strung to begin with. Mary Mandel, and I mean, you just can't believe, like, some people laughed, you know, quite a few people laughed, you know. It was hairy. So the Regent comes in there, and it's all Shay empowerment. It's like, I don't know what it is. Big level, you know, they're getting stroke practice, you know. Or maybe this is Saturday night. Friday night we were late, and they were freaking out, but it wasn't this, you know. He was just late. He was drunk. But he walks in Friday night, and he drives the lot a match on the rock, which is traditionally what we do. You know, we got a rock there. Rock meets bone. You know, it's a meaningful thing. But it better be a rock where you can strike a match on it. If it's not, the rock is more than useless. It's anti-dharma, you know. But then, you know, finally, gets it lit. Regent says, get rid of this rock. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. And he's been a little wrathful, I think. I think he's a little wrathful. Not uncommon, totally uncommon, this level of students that have been around for a long time and still look dumber than dirt, you know. He's liable to say something about it. There's so much shit what happened. It was just kind of, I'm going to miss some part. Simon Luna was there with a big job. He was really in the middle of all this. He was so cool. He was so great. He kept us cool. He didn't blow his top. Bart and Mary would lose their minds. A lot of other people would lose their minds. Like Daniel Staffler's wife. He's gone by then, but she's got a big job. She's losing it. Judy Staffler, is that it? So, some things happened, but one thing that happened was the skeptical John Springer was in the back of the room, and he was trying to lay a trip on the Regent, meaning the Regent is a fuck up. I know he's a fuck up. I know, you know. I know I'm gonna catch him fucking up here because I just know what it is. I don't think John really asked a question. Really, he didn't say anything. He just had a look. You know, the Regent knew. Regent was smart and shit. He knew the room. You know, he knew how to read the room. He knew what was what. You know, even if he was that drunk, it didn't matter. So anyway. Later on in the car, he said, I think it was later on, maybe it was in the room. Or maybe it was the next day. I don't know. He was telling me, he said, about what happened last night. He said, that's the most profound thing he ever said to me, I have to believe, if you understand what he's saying. He said, John Springer was trying to catch me, but he couldn't do it. I was too quick for him. The whole thing in the Dharma is you got to be out of time. You got to be beyond time. When that thought arises, if you are in time, you're going to be late. In the Mahamudra, you're beyond time and you're already there. By the time the thought arises, you are already ahead of it. You're quick. You're really quick. Most people are so slow. Their thoughts are like 8 steps down the road before they ever catch on to what's going on. You gotta be quick in the Dharma. And you really, I think you gotta be, in some sense, out of time. You're ahead of the thought. You know, how can you be ahead of thought? That's just faster than thought. But the Buddhas don't get thrown by thoughts very often. How they do it is impossible, but they're never late, man. They are never late. They are always on time, and they are quick. They are not slow to comprehend. Their knowingness of things as they are is not small. It is great. And the Regent's was great. And that's the reason he was too quick for John Springer. John Springer couldn't lay that trip on him. The Regent was too quick for him. That was funny. So, the other thing he says on the car ride back home, he says, I mean, it's like 4 in the morning and the Regent has just potentially laid a career-ending egg or something. And you know, they're going to try to end his career back in Boulder when they hear about this shit. Let me tell you, they did. Big time. It didn't work, but they did. Because there was another incident prior to this that just added it up. See? I can't even remember that incident, what happened. This was monumental event this weekend is famous. Regent has got a lot of famous weekends, but let me tell you, this might be the most famous one of all. No, not very few people know about it, but people don't know. If you weren't there, or you're not a bigwig, and hear the straight scoop, and even then, you don't know shit. You had to be there, like me, and nobody understood it. Besides, the Regent and me, nobody else. Tom understood plenty. Nobody else. But they understood something happened, but they didn't really understand anything. But the people at Boulder, a lot of them were ready to jump to conclusions. They were ready to catch the Regent, Lady Rich was having to put out some fires back home. So, he says to me, Craig, we can't let this interfere with our golf tomorrow. Fraser was dedicated to golf, man. Dedicated. It's 4 in the morning. We're going to go play golf at 7:30 or something, Somebody else was bagged it, Golf is the main point of the trip. And to get that weed, that was the main point of the trip. Was nothing's going to interfere with the golf. We're going to get that weed. We haven't had any weed in a year. These are the 2 major principles. I know there's another funny one. Every day we'd get off the golf course and we'd have 5 margaritas. He would. And he'd look over at me and said, Craig, if they have nothing to drink but sake when I get home, I'm a dead man. You can't switch from hard liquor to sake or beer, You're a dead man if you do that. You're through. He'd come home, there's the dinner, and all I got to drink is sake, and then after dinner we have a doobie. He's out again. No, wait. They'd haven't smoked the first night. Friday night they were dry. Saturday morning they got the smoke. So Saturday's when he said, I'll be a dead man. He got the sake, dead man, and then he got the smoke, and that's when he goes out for 4 hours or whatever it was. They can't get him out. He won't move. Shows up at 2. Tries to light that rock. He didn't do 8, 10 times like he did the night before. He did about 3. And he takes that rock and just flings it against the wall louder than hell, like a gun going off. He said, I told you to get rid of that rock. Woke the troops up after, they've been asleep for a while. Oh, and then this is the best one. Simon was in this. I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you don't stir the ink, all the ink, the black stuff is at the bottom, and it looks like regular ink. You think you got ink, but it's just water at the top, even though it looks like it ain't ink. If you don't stir it up good, it's been sitting there for 5 months, like this ink had, you gotta stir it up. So we get the big time, the big show, the big to-do, the big moment when we do the ashe, and nothing comes off the brush. It's completely clear. It's the miracle of the white ashe. It was a miracle. And nobody knew what to do, man. Like, nobody could even think at that point. I didn't know you had to stir it then as I do now. We're stupid about handling ink and brush, believe me, we're dumber than dirt, know, to this day, nobody knows anything else, it seems like. Anyway. Oh, we kind of had to suspend the ceremony and suspend the transmission. And that's when, you know, that's when people really laughed. You know, there's like 5 people leave. And they ain't coming back. And they ain't getting the transmission. They don't want it, you know. We had to like, oh my God, run around. Bill Berger and Claire Berger. I don't think, this was Claire Berger's big thing. And she was gone, man. She wouldn't have nothing to do with it. And we just had, you know, we just had to beg her. And other people too, we just had to beg them. We got most of them back, maybe one person, but most everybody, but it was work, man. It was work getting them back, man, for the real transmission the next day, you know. It was wild. It was so wild. Just unbelievable. And then there was events on the golf course. The golf course was just as wild, man. Me and the Regent, there's a gentleman, I just can't say his name because I can't do that. Let's call him George. And I don't know who the fourth one was. There was a fourth, very important, but I think he was not a friend of Fred's. I can't remember. It was like the two of them were buddy and the same level of golf. They were not up to our level, really. I mean, they weren't that horrible, really. But tough course. The Regent's kind of on his game a little bit. I mean, he can get around. But they're just like, it seems like they're 2 holes behind us the whole time. You know, it's just like pitiful. And one of them, when he drinks, he gets mean. He transformed into a werewolf. As he got drinking, he got really surly. He was just this nice guy playing golf with us. And all of a sudden, he turned into a werewolf. It was like, I told the Regent, he turned into a werewolf. It was funny. He thought that was funny. We just about left him. We really, at one point, we just drove off and left him. And then we went drink with those guys, and it just got real. He really turned into a werewolf once we got to drinking, man. He really turned into a werewolf. It was very bizarre. Then I gave the Regent this, I was looking around for a gift. I don't know, he's given everything to me, and I just wanted to give him a gift. And we had these horns. I'd given him another gift that he liked. It was a kind of a boom on our last night's thing. Anyway, I tried to outdo myself. It didn't work, but these horns, but they were broken kind of, but it was going to be easy to fix them. And we did fix them. He did fix them, and he had them. There were these long horns on a thing. You know, they would call me Tex, so, you know, all these Texas things. What I gave him before had horns and a gong. He liked it, you know, so I thought the horns were working, you know. But we were funny with those horns, you know. He was going around with those horns on, kind of running around. I got back to Boulder, and it was questionable. All right, I'm gonna stop at a 40-minute mark. I have a hard time uploading, and then do it again, but maybe I'll look up a couple of things I couldn't remember before I do it again. I've so lost the plot with the John Springer. He's out the window, but he'll come back.